Ravan was feared, Kumbhakarna was monstrous. But the one warrior even the gods trembled before was Meghnad, the son of Ravan, who was also known as Indrajit, as he had vanquished Lord Indra in battle. And only one person in the entire universe could actually defeat him. Not Ram, not Hanuman, only Lakshman. So, what is this secret that Lakshman carried for 14 years that made him the only one who could kill Indrajit? Whenever you hear stories of devotion, Hanumanji's name comes right up there, rightly so, for boundless love for Lord Rama. But there is another devotee equally fierce in love and sacrifice, Lakshman. Without Lakshman, the story of Ram is incomplete. It was during a visit to Ayodhya that sage Agastya began recounting the events of the Lanka war. The air was thick with awe as he spoke of the mighty battles. Lord Ram shared how he had vanquished powerful demons like Ravan and Kumbhakarna, and how Lakshman had defeated formidable foes like Atikaya and Indrajit. But then sage Agastya, gently interjected, "My lord, while Ravan and Kumbhakarna were mighty, the greatest warrior of all was Indrajit. Did you know? He fought battles while suspended in the sky and once even defeated Lord Indra and dragged him in chains to Lanka." Everyone listened astonished. Only after Brahma himself asked Indrajit to release Indra as a gift did he let the king of gods go. Agastya continued, and it was Lakshman who ultimately brought down this mighty warrior. That makes him the greatest among all. Lord Ram was both proud and puzzled. He had known of Lakshman's valor, but was intrigued by Agastya's statement. "Why do you say," Lord Ram asked sage Agastya, "that killing Indrajit was more difficult than defeating Ravan himself?" Sage Agastya smiled and replied, "Because Indrajit had received a rare boon. Only one who had not slept for 14 years, had not seen the face of any woman during that time, and had not consumed any food could kill him." Ram was startled. But during exile, he said, "I shared the fruits I gathered with Lakshman. He lived just beside our cottage while Sita and I stayed together. Surely he saw her face often. And how could one remain without food or sleep for 14 years? Sage Agastya chuckled softly. "My lord, what can be hidden from you? Yet the world sings only your praises. It is time Ayodhya hears of Lakshman's incredible sacrifice as well." So they called Lakshman. And Ram gently, very gently asked him, but firmly, to speak the truth. "How is it," he asked, "that you never saw Sita's face, nor ate food, nor slept for all those years?" Lakshman bowed and spoke with humility. "Brother, we went to Mount Rishyamukh in search of Sita. Sugriv showed us her ornaments to identify. You may recall I could only recognize the anklets. I had never looked above her feet, so I could not recognize any other ornament. And as for sleep," he continued, "while you and Mother Sita rested in the cottage, I kept watch outside, bow in hand. When sleep tried to overcome me, I pierced her with arrows. Defeated, she promised not to touch me for 14 years. But she warned me that when you would be crowned king and I stood behind you as a humble servant, holding the royal umbrella, that day she would claim her due. You may remember on the day of your coronation, the parasol fell from my hand. That was the moment sleep returned. And how did I survive without food? Each day you divided the fruits into 3 parts, gave me mine and asked me to keep it. You never told me to eat it, so how could I do so without your command? I stored them away in the hut. They are still there." At Rama's bidding, Lakshman went to the old hut in Chitrakoot and returned with the baskets. The fruits were counted. 7 days' worth were missing. Ram asked gently, "Then you did eat for 7 days?" Lakshman lowered his head and replied, "No, my lord, on those 7 days fruits could not be gathered at all. On the day we received the devastating news of our father's passing, our hearts were too heavy with grief to even think of food. When Ravana abducted Mother Sita, the anguish and urgency to find her consumed us, leaving no room for hunger. As you stood in penance before the vast ocean, pleading for a path to Lanka, time itself seemed to stand still, and so did our need for nourishment. The day you lay unconscious, bound by Indrajit's cruel serpent spell, fear and despair swallowed every other thought, including that of food and sustenance. When Indrajit struck down the illusionary form of Mother Sita before our very eyes, the sorrow was so profound that even breathing felt like a burden. And the day I was struck by Ravana's divine weapon, pain coursed through my body and I could neither move nor eat. And on the day you finally vanquished Ravan, though the war had ended, our souls were still trembling from the weight of it all. There was no space for celebration, let alone food. On those days, hunger did not matter. And to survive, I had once learned a rare knowledge from sage Vishwamitra, how to master the body's need for food. Using that sacred knowledge, I endured all these years so that I may one day strike down Indrajit. Hearing this, Lord Ram was overcome with love. He stepped forward and embraced Lakshman, tears in his eyes. The sacrifice, the devotion, the unimaginable discipline. He now saw Lakshman not just as a brother, but as a warrior saint whose tapasya had changed the fate of the world. So what can we learn from this amazing retelling of our Itihasa? Lakshman's quiet sacrifices remind us that true strength often lies in unseen devotion, choosing duty over comfort, protecting loved ones without seeking praise, and mastering our desires so we can stand firm when life tests us. In a world that rewards instant recognition, his example urges us to cultivate resilience, humility, and unwavering purpose, trusting that the right actions, no matter how hidden, shape destinies. If this story moved you, do like, share, and subscribe to Mythical Lights because your support keeps us going. Until next time.